Alright, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Masters of the Universe Origins He-Man 2000 and X series version. And I hope everybody had a great weekend. And before we get into taking a look at this figure, let's take a look at the accessories that this figure does come with. So starting off, we have the 2000X series He-Man version of his shield, which is nicely done. There's a lot of detail in this shield. I love the way they did the red with the texture inside of the color. I love the way that they did every one of these little details here, as far as all the little rivets, and the fact that they made it with look like it's electronic. Very nice. Looks like mine had a crack in it. That's just the way the plastic went through, but that's okay. Gives it a little bit of texture, a little bit of interesting, like almost like it, damaged and was repaired. But that's it. It's just casted in gray plastic. You can see all the little rivets going through. Like I said, all the little wires make it look like it's actually electronic, more futuristic than the other. And then on the flip side, you have some more electronics on there. Right here, and also down here. And it just clips onto his wrist and his hand holds it here, just like the others. But yeah, really cool little throwback to that series. Next, we have his battle axe. Now this battle axe here, this is an awesome battle axe. At least in my opinion it is. You can see all the electronic parts going through it. They did not paint any of this stuff in. I know there's supposed to be some gold in here, red. This is supposed to be red at the top, if I'm not mistaken, some greens. But all that detail just lost. I mean, you could give it like a black wash if you really wanted it to pop out so you could actually see it. But like right here on these like little, this right here, it looks like the blades actually fold, in, and then they, he hits a button and then they pop out. Not from in this way, but they fold back like onto itself, like they fold onto it. But anyway, you can see the iron cross in the middle of the axe. That's where there should have been some paint, at least on that, if anything. But they didn't, but that's fine. And it's just all cast in gray plastic like most of the axes are. And all the way down the handle, mine has this little part right here where it came off of the out of the kiln or whatever it is that they use, and it kind of has a slight metallic gray flake paint, but overall very nice. I like it. And yeah, this was always the battle axe that I thought was really cool. I mean, it's huge, but I thought it was great. And here we have the power sword, and you can see all the electronics running through the blade down to the hilt. So yeah, you have some paint that's missing here. A lot of green. There's supposed to be some greens in here. You have the iron cross that should be painted with some reds in there to get it to stand out. But like I said, you could always take like a gray wash, or not a gray wash, but like black paint, and get all this stuff to really come through if you want, or just paint it yourself, the color that you want it to look, the way, if you want it to look the way that it's supposed to look, and just fix it up. I mean, so supposedly, to my understanding, and then down here, just real quick before I get into that, you have the handle, and there's some more detail on the handle. Sorry, I almost forgot to show that off. Like he would press a button right there to get this to switch around. All right, so basically what I was saying, supposedly, the story behind this sword here is supposed to be the fact that Man-at-Arms had to make this sword for him so he could turn into He-Man. And then come to find out that this sword here, which is Skeletor's, is supposed to be the one that has is supposed to be the original power sword, right? So you have the two halves put together, pre-Eternia, sub-Eternia, of the swords put together. But if anybody has seen the series, when Skeletor actually meets He-Man for the first time, he throws his sword at He-Man, and it ends up going into lava, and it burns. So when Skeletor calls it back, he only calls back, you know, the hilt part. He doesn't call back the blades completely melted off. And he tells him, he says, like, yeah, that's some shoddy material that's made of, that the sword is made out of. So, you know, that's a great factor to say that this was the original Power Sword. Maybe that's where they were going to go originally, and then they changed it. I mean, it definitely has a look to it, the way the original Power Sword looked. And you have, like I said, here you have the pre-Eternia side, and then you have the sub-Eternia side on there. So that, you know, yeah, that could make sense. I guess that's where they were gonna go, but then they changed their minds because when they introduced King Grayskull, this was his sword. This was King Grayskull's sword. So this is what was kept, given to Adam on his 16th birthday, and when he used it and he called on the power, then he becomes He-Man. And these actually flip around to fold together like this, because actually they are different when he's not He-Man. So yeah, pretty neat, pretty interesting, and you know, cool storyline. I liked this storyline considering it was 16 years after the fact of, was it 16 years? Probably a lot longer than 16 years. It was a lot longer than 16 years, but the storyline takes place 16 years after, supposedly after the original one, or something like that. Anyway, yeah, no, but we all know that it was a lot longer than that. So my point is that with this is it's great to have. I just wish they would have slapped a little bit of paint on it, and that's the history behind it. This actually belongs to King Grayskull and was handed down to Adam when it was time for him to take over the mantle of being He-Man. Okay, so let's get into taking a look at the figure itself. So now you have He-Man himself, and love the way they did the battle harness, the belt, his gauntlets. This seems to be kind of short right here. He's wearing short shorts, and this was in the front, not in the back. So they put it on the back. This pouch was hanging in the front. And you can go back and you can take a look at that, but if you actually look right here, you can see where the pouch is hanging in the front on that picture of He-Man. But anyway, going down to his boots, it's all just brown, no light brown, and he has the straps going around, just regular He-Man buck. Now, paint-wise, the paint looks good, and it's not all slopped all together. So let's take a quick look. His eyes, nicely done. The Iron Cross, this version of the Iron Cross, nicely done. I like the gold in the back and the silver. Very well done. The only thing that they didn't do is they didn't make these red, which they're supposed to be red. And these are supposed to be silver, which actually they just left brown. I guess they didn't feel like painting them. Then you have a nice silver here, and then you have the Iron Cross again on his belt. And if you look at it, it's a resemblance of his shield, but the Iron Cross is there. If you actually take a look, instead of looking like a fan, if you look at the gold, it looks like a fan. If you look at the red, you can see the Iron Cross come through. Nice silver on the studs, on the actual belt going all the way around, his gauntlets, and then, like I said, his boots, which are just typical brown, and his shorts are just casted in brown as well. All right, now let's take a look at this head sculpt. This head sculpt here, I mean, I love the way they did this. So they gave him the somewhat windswept hair off to the side, nicely done, but they gave him the vintage He-Man head instead of that weird, I don't know, kind of looking head that some of the others came with. I mean, this goes really good. Very well. Nicely done. I mean, yeah. There's no, you know, I mean, look, hair all the way to the back. I mean, yeah. So, I dig it. They did a really good job. All right. So, let's get into taking a look at the articulation of this guy. So, he can actually look up, just like Skeletor can in this version. He can look up really well. He can look down that far. He can look side to side. And he has some crazy head tilt. His arms, typical origin articulation. He can move out to the side, and his arms will go, shoulders will rotate all the way around. He has not a bicep swivel, but he has an elbow swivel, and then he has a single jointed elbow, wrist swivel, and then his wrist articulation, which goes side to side. Making your way down to his torso, he has no ab crunch. He only has a waist swivel. And then as far as his legs, he can do the splits. And he does not have a upper thigh, but a hip rotation is slightly turns a little bit side to side, so you can get a little bit more movement out of him. But making your way down to the knees, you have a single jointed knee, which bends that far, which is great. And then he has a knee swivel, which is pretty cool. Making your way down to the boot, he has a boot swivel, and then he has his ankle articulation, which backwards, forward, and then side to side. So overall, let me get this guy off to the side and we can take a look. Oh, before I forget, his battle harness. This is what I was wishing that Skeletor came with, was this piece right here, where you can actually slide the sword in here, which actually, this sword is actually kind of big, but you just got to kind of work it to get it down in there. It will fit. Take that out. If you don't want that in there, you can put his battle axe in the back right there. But it would have been cool if Skeletor came with one, because see his sword. All right, I can see why they didn't do it, because it's kind of a little bit wider than that one, but still fits, still works. To take this harness off, you just got to lift this up, pop it up, that's it. Bring it up and over, and then of course it's on the body here, so I don't know if you can completely take this off, or if you gotta pop him in half to get this off, which I'm not gonna do. I'm just gonna pop this back on. Just take it, and I see if I can do this on camera, and you just push this down. Yeah. Give me a second, because I'm gonna be battling with this and I don't wanna waste your guys' time. So give me a second to get this back, and then we'll do some comparisons, and then we will I'll give you my thoughts on the figure.
Ranger became the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. This is Skeletor.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the little bit of clips I did with He-Man, posing him a little bit, showing off him holding his weapons along with Skeletor. Now let's get into taking a look at some comparisons. And here's how he compares to Dam's Toys Red Yashima. And here's how he compares to the Masters of the Universe Origins Lord of Destruction Skeletor, the Masters of the Universe 2000X series version. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this review of the Masters of the Universe Origins He-Man 2000X series version. Listen, it's just standard Origins articulation, so there really isn't, too much to really go on about. The only thing I really have a little bit of a pet peeve with is they could have added a little bit of paint to the weapons, but I can do that myself, I guess, if I want them to look the way that they should. They should have added that little bit of red to the battle harness, at least, if anything, on those squares, because it's supposed to be there. But hey, it's not, and it's not going to kill. What I do enjoy and what I do like the most is that they have this figure, they have the Skeletor, they both look amazing, and I love the way they did it with the vintage head sculpt with that windswept hair on him, the longer hair. Not the Dora the Explorer haircut, or the Bob haircut, I guess it was called back in the day. But anyway, regardless, if you get a chance to get this guy, pick him up. Yeah, fantastic. If you're a Motu collector or a fan, then you're gonna love this figure. And that's all I have to say about that. Guys, I really hope you do enjoy this video, and thank you to all the new subscribers and the old subscribers. People have been hanging in there with me since I started this channel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys coming here all the time, checking out the new content that I'm putting up, checking out the new videos, checking out the new reviews. Guys, please, as always, like, subscribe, share, leave a comment down below, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on anything new that I'm putting up. Thank you guys. I couldn't be doing this without you, and you guys are reasons why I keep doing it. So thumbs up to all of you guys. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. I hope your week is just as well, and I will catch you all on the flippity flip.